Hello and welcome to CIS Networking 104. We are on week 8. This is going to be on the Hands-On Lab 9.1 through 9.3. For this video, we're going to set up the network first. Let me take this down here, get it out of the way a little bit. Or actually, right up here will be fine. Okay, so first thing we're going to need is get our routers out here. We're going to need 3 of them. Let's see. 3. We'll need 3 routers for this uh, activity. Trying to make sure they're all the same. So 31941 is what I'm going to go with, and then just 2 generic PCs. And then we're going to need some cables. We'll need 2 crossover cables, one from here from the PC to the router, and a crossover cable right here, and then 2 serial interface cables. So let's get those hooked up. Fast Ethernet. 2 GB 00. Same thing over here. Fast Ethernet. Gigabyte 00. Get the serial with the DCE. Oh yeah. And before I go any further, I have to get into the routers. Turn them off and get the HWIC2T card put into each router so we can have our serial cables hooked up for the serial interfaces. So let's get all these on here. Alright, now let's put the cables on. Get your serial cables, S00 to S00, and then another one, S01 to S00. Okay. Okay, and after you get your 3 routers, 2 PCs, set up cabling, add the HWIC2T card to the router. We can fast forward time a little bit so they can acknowledge and initialize themselves. First, let's go here into our PC. I'm just going to switch the name to PCA. And then I'm going to go into the desktop, go to IP configuration. The IP address that I'm going to use is the 172.168.10.50 IP address with a class C 0. And then our default gateway is going to fall into the 16.10.1 network area. So 172.168.10.15.50. Okay. So that's what we're going with PCA, and then we're going to go into the router, and we're going to rename this. But I'm going to actually show you how to do it in the command line interface in case you haven't seen it that way. Host name lab underscore A. Oh yeah, I need to get into configuration mode. Okay. And after that, we're going to go ahead and get our interface G0 interface up with the IP address of 172.168.10.1.255.255.255.0. Give it a no shot command to change the state to up, As you see, I did that. We have connection right here from PCA to router 0 is the name of it right now. But I do want it to look like this, lab A, so there we go, lab A, that's what we want. Go back into the command line interface. So we just did our gigabyte interface. Let's do the serial face. S0/0/0/0. And for this interface, it's pretty much going to be the same, but it's going to be 2.0. So it would be 172.16.20.1 with a space. 255.255.0. Oops. .0. It did not like that because I didn't say IP address before that. Give this the no shut command. And change the state to down, but don't worry later on it won't. Oh, I need to also get back into the interface S0/0/0. Go here and give it a clock rate. Okay. And now we can see here. Interface G no shut. Yes. I was just reading my notes that I should have connectivity from PCA to router A, but I already had that connection later. So anyway, after we get the configuration set up in PCA and lab A router, we need to move over to router 1, which is right up here. Go into here, and we got our card on, so we're good right there. And do the exact same thing. Enable configuration mode. We're going to go host name lab underscore B. Then we're going to go interface G0 slash. Actually, no, there's not going to be any G's. No gigabytes on here, just serial face. Interface S0/0/0 with an IP address of 172.16.20.2, then 255.255.255.0 for your C class. And this one we don't need to do a clock rate on, but make sure you give it the no shut command, and it will change the state up, and you'll see connectivity starting from lab A router to lab B router right after that. But there's also another interface we need to configure on lab router B, and that would be the interface S0/0/1 interface, and that is 172.16.30.1, and then the same subnet mask. Okay. Alright, see I misprinted right there. And you know what? That's not going to work because it didn't go down to the last line. Touchy. Okay, IP address 72.16.30.1. Okay. And we need to no shut that also. No clock rate on the router B because we took care of the clock rate on the router A. On router C, we'll have to set a clock rate for the interface over there. Okay. So as you see, serial 001 got changed to state down. Let's double check this by the way. S00, S00. Just 1 second. Gonna check something out real quick. Alright, I'm back. I just had to double check something. I was making sure I did the right configurations and I didn't want to waste time on the video for you guys. So, router B is now configured because we got O1 and O2 configured on there. And we did the no shut commands, correct IP addressing. Now we just got to move on to router 2, which is going to be called lab_C. But we're going to switch this real quick too. Okay. Go to router 3. Configuration mode. Let's enable it, I guess. T. Host name lab_C. Then we gotta go interface G0/0. Actually, we're gonna just keep it easy as if we were just going from here all the way over to the next interface, which is gonna be a serial interface right in between here before we do this gigabyte right here. So let's go interface S0/0/0 IP address 172.16.30.2. And make sure we do a clock right here. Oops, almost fat fingered that. This command applies only to DCE interfaces. See here, clock rate 12800. Should have allowed me to do one right here. It says DCE interfaces only. Okay. And then do a no shut. Changes the state to up. I'm gonna go check something out here real quick. Hold on. Okay, so 0000's up. I don't know, 01's up yet. Okay, change the state for 01 and 00. Okay, so we're good on that. Okay, just double checking. All the configurations are done for router C besides the interface G00. Let's get the gigabyte going here. Interface G0/0. Oh wait, I gotta exit out of here. Interface G0/0. Getting it right. Executive mode. IP address 172.16.40.1. There we go. No shut. We're good. Just want to try something real quick because I'm a little thrown off with my serial interfaces. Okay, interface. Get back in the configuration mode. Interface S0/0/1. Clock rate 128. Okay. Just wanted to make sure I did a clock rate on both of them. So that way everything goes smooth. After we get all these configured and we have green everywhere on our network, we definitely should be able to ping from device to device, just not necessarily anywhere in the network yet, because we still have to do the OSPF routing. So let me show you some examples of pinging here. Jeez, there we go. Oh wait, I had to do one more step before we can ping from everywhere. We had to go into here, and I'm gonna name this PCB. And in order to be able to ping from PCB to lab C router, we're gonna have to go into the desktop here and give it an IP address. And what we have is 440 over here, so we did 10 through 50, so 40.50, 255, 255. Dot zero, stick with the C mask. Default gateway will be 172.16.40.1. And now we're good to go. And let's see how we can do now. Ping from here to here, successful. Here to here, successful. Here to here, successful. Let's delete those, get those out of the way. Successful. And here to here, successful. Oh, that one fell. Why did this one fail? Okay. Sometimes it does that. It's just not up to par yet. Let's double check that, make sure it was successful. And then we'll try to go right here, which I was trying to explain about it, probably won't make it. Because we don't have the OSPF routing yet. So that's what we're going to do next. And we're now finally ready to begin hands-on 9.1 and 9.2, enabling the OSPF process and configuring OSPF routers. So what we're going to do is give it the router OSPF 100 command on each router. So we're just going to have to go in here, enable, configuration mode, and then type router OSPF 100, give it a name, go into here, do the same thing. Okay, OSPF 101, go into router C, which I need to actually do this real quick. There we go. Go into router C, command line interface, and here we are doing router OSPF 102. Okay, so now they all had the OSPF command, and we also have to give each of these routers networks, so they'll be able to do the correct routing from PCA to PCB, pretty much going through the crossover cables, serial cables, and doing connectivity from remote devices, just not devices that they're hooked up from point to point. So let's go back into router A and do the networking section. And we're going to use a wildcard mask in area 0, because this is going to be single OSPF. And this area right here is covering the G00 interface. And then we got to cover the serial interface, so 172.16.20.1. Area 0, and this is for interface S0/0/0. And then we're going to move into lab B router and do the same thing. But the networking will be a little different because of where the interfaces are. So 172.16.20.2, and then 0, 0, 0, 0. And we're putting all these in area 0. And just to let you know, this is the interface, this one right here, S001 interface. And we also have to see that it fully loaded it. Network 172.16.31, I think. Yeah, 30.1, 0.0.0.0, area 0. See if we can get that fully loaded. Just wait for a second, see if it does it, like it did on this one. Oh, I see that on router A too. Process 100 MBR, fully loading, done, good. Make sure that's fully loading, done, good, okay. Then we gotta go to router C, lab C, and do the same thing. Network 172.16.30.2. Area 0. And then pretty much the same thing. But we're gonna go 40 dot 40.1 172.16.14.10000 area 0 also. Okay. And then we should have all the network wildcard mask, and we should be able to ping all devices now. And let's check to see if we can actually do that now. Ping from A to A, successful. PCA to lab B, successful. A to C, successful. A to PCB, successful. Pretty simple. Pretty awesome project too. Just the little commands of OSPF can really go a long way. But this is just single, and that was 9.1 and 9.2. Now we just gotta do 9.3, and that's just verifying OSPF operations. So we're just gonna do all these in router A. And now that we're all set, we're gonna end all this, get out, and go show IP OSPF neighbor. This is going to be our first verification. And what we're verifying here is that the gateway address of lab B is 172.16.30.1 right here on the neighbor ID. This is the neighbor ID, and it's saying that it's processing through 172.16.20.2. It's moving through right here. So now we'd like to also, that's how you determine your neighbor, that's how you determine the route it's going through. If you went up to like router B and have a couple different codes, I'll show you real quick the difference. See here how the router B, it has 20 going to the left over here, and then oh, actually it's saying the neighbor, yeah, that's right, the neighbor is right here, but the route for that neighbor is 4.01, which is right here. So that's how show IP neighbor works. Let's do show IP route. What we're verifying here is basically what routes are being used directly, what routes are being used by OSPF. This 172.1610 right here. This is pretty much your local area network that you're using. And 172.16.10.132. This is pretty much your gigabyte area right here. And the next one down would be your serial interface S000. This is also interface S00. These two are serials right here. And then these two would be running on OSPF. They're not directly connected, but remotely connected. Let's do show IP protocols. What we look for in this section for the show IP protocols is basically the router ID, and in this case it's 172.20.1 right here. You can see the wildcard mask that we used for all of that. It's nice to verify the addresses to the lab B router, which would be the 172.16301 right here, and lab C router right here, 172.16.401. They got a distance of 110. And we're also going to do show IP OSPF without the neighbor. And what you really want to just look for here is looking at your schedule delay seconds 5, hold time between SPS 10 seconds, 5 seconds, arrival 1 second. Number of areas in this router is 1. Number of interface in this area is 2. You're just verifying what you have in your network with the show IP OSPF that's related to OSPF. And you know, of course, when you look at this, it doesn't have much redundancy because where was that line? I saw it last time. Hold on. Oh yeah. There's a line that says that's not put together, or area has no authentication. I didn't do that. I didn't do any passwords. But there was a line that would tell you whether you had redundancy or not. And basically, you want to have a good hello time on there, dead time, wait time, and so forth. And after you verify that you have those times and they're not overlapping each other, your network should be running okay. But that is pretty much all there is to this video. I appreciate you guys watching. Any comments or questions, let me know. And that is 9.1, 9.3, building a network with a single OSPF routing. Thank you.